Hello again, welcome back to another Vampire Survivors. Okay. May 11th evening. Later in the evening, so. Yeah. Just had some meat. That stuff was good. Let's see. 18,700, my God. I think that'd be all worth it when we get the growth all the way up there. So I might be just saving up for that. Because what is that? 3% more XP per rank. Max 15%. So we got like 9% now. Okay, 3% more experience. I think that means we drop 9% more XP out of enemies than we normally do. I think that's what it means. Okay, let's see here. Porta. Cooldown. Negative 95? Holy God. All right, we'll do a little bit of Porta. And we'll do, maybe Hyper? Oh, we got new cards? Oh, these are what I unlocked. Okay, interesting. So I could only pick one of these, right? Awake? What is this? Awake? Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, I see. Disco or gold. Pick it up. Coin bags from the floor triggers gold fever. 10 gold restores as many HP. Gold fever, huh? That's the healing thing that doubles. Gives 3+ revivals. Consuming a revival gives 10%. Huh? Oh, that's cool. All right. I think we go for that. Because this character's got like... Oh, never mind. It's constant barrage of lightning. What the hell? Is that right? Oh, never mind. I don't know what that barrage of lightning was about. Yeah, why not? Feeling pretty good tonight. I was talking about last night that I was gonna maybe exercise today, or for tomorrow, which is today, you know, and well, decided against it. I needed to just kind of like rest, take a off day for running, and I might do some running tomorrow, but I'm going to probably just do it like indoors on a treadmill because of the heat wave. So I won't be suffering out there. Plus, I could get my HIIT training like adjusted some more too. I had a really good workout last night. I did some farmer walks, which, funny enough, right after I recorded my Isaac video, I was already feeling some pain, like quicker than usual. I'm like, okay, this is very interesting here. Why am I feeling pain this early on? Normally it's like several hours to like maybe even a full day before I start feeling some pain. So there's that, but like I didn't get so much pain when I was lifting with the heavier weights last night with what's that one thing? Bench press. Yeah. I did reduce like the reps. Did about the same amount of sets, you know, 4 sets of 6s instead of 4 sets of 10s because they're fairly heavy weights and not fairly, they're pretty significant. difference, 10-pound difference. But I feel like I'm getting stronger though, which is really nice. I think if I would have started lifting months ago and I did like what I'm doing now with weights, I don't think I would have the strength to like do it so easily. Yeah. Right now it's a little hard, but it's not too terrible. So I'll do that for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, between a week and 2 weeks, depending on how I feel like I need to adjust things. And then, if anything, I'll add more to it. And on top of that, I'm going to be doing more of that farmer walk stuff. Because like today, I already noticed a difference after doing that farmer walk last night. I had some more like gripping strength. Like it was pretty noticeable. So I'm doing it right. I'm making sure I'm like standing up straight and everything while I'm doing them. So yeah, I'm getting stronger. It's just like sometimes whenever I get in these like phases where when I'm lifting and stuff, like I eventually just kind of fall out of it completely. But past couple of months, it hasn't been so bad so far. Knock on wood. I mean, been noticing some strength. Like I've noticed a little bit of a difference with the physique. Not a big difference right now, but it's going pretty well. I did read online, one of the tips when you're starting to weightlift and stuff, or just weightlifting regularly, is don't check yourself in the mirror like on a regular basis. And I think that is the case. I think it's true that you shouldn't, because when you're checking yourself out with your progress, you're not going to see much of a difference, right? And then you're going to subconsciously like fool yourself. It's like, hey, I'm not getting as much progress as I'm having here right now. What the heck? And then you feel kind of like not accomplished so much to like lift anymore and stuff. And then it's like, then you just kind of fall out of it because you're not getting the results that you want as fast as you want. I noticed I've been gaining some weight slowly, and that's one of the signs too. But at the same time, I'm gaining some weight around my waist a little bit, in the butt region. Now, I haven't really changed my diet or anything is the deal. Like, I had some snacks here and there, and I got back on the keto like days ago. Or about a week ago. No, I broke off of keto yesterday because I had a pizza. Okay, so there's that. But like, aside from that, like, I'm not eating a bunch of junk and stuff, so that's not what's doing it. Because a lot of that is like water weight, and that just goes away after a couple days or so. Getting back on keto. This is more in the lines of like more stabilizing weight over the course of like a couple months or so. Since I started lifting, like it's going up. So I'm building some kind of muscle. So that's a good sign. And another thing too, they said about your clothes are going to fit differently, which I noticed a little bit with certain clothes. They're fitting a little snugger. It's mostly the pants, though. But, which is why I've been kind of doing some running so I can, like, exercise my lower excrements, or what do you call them? My legs and buttocks and all them. I thought about getting, like, one of those seated weightlifting machine things where I can just put the weights on there like I have here with like the barbell press and stuff. But then again, I was thinking, well, if I'm doing a full body workout with the farmer walks, I probably don't need that. Especially since I can go to the gym and do that anyways, because they have their own kind of thing there. A couple of varying things. It's just they don't have a bench press to this gym that's like free and stuff. That, I mean, they have some kind of variation of it, I suppose, but it's not as impactful and stress-inducing to your arms as like the bench press. It's more of an incline press, which is okay, but like I think I'll just adapt to it too quickly is the issue. And bench press, I feel like it's going to be more natural, pushing the weight directly above me instead of like at an incline level where I get like a little bit more leverage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've been feeling pretty good, though, on that. I know when the last time I did farmer walks, I did them for a while, and I noticed there was a difference with my running. Like, I was able to run faster, harder. I had more stamina. Which makes sense, because I'm building not only muscles around my leg regions and stuff, and everywhere else, but also, like, on top of that, you're putting more resistance to yourself when you're traveling, when you're walking. And so that's building up some stamina with movement. So then when you're running, it's like, oh, this is like easier than what it was. I would caution you, though, if you ever consider doing some farmer walks, make sure you're doing them properly. And if you have to turn around or something, turn slow and be careful not to twist too hard. Because I got I had a hand injury last year in May, and I had to do rehabilitation exercises for a couple of months. And fortunately, it wasn't a tear. Thank God it wasn't a tear. But it did hurt. And then I think that's part of the reason why I kind of stopped doing that. And then I did get back on to it after I healed last year and stuff, but then I just kind of fell out of it quickly. So if I'm like doing this whole bench press stuff for a while, I think I might be able to stick with this other kind of exercise. Maybe. Stay tuned. By the time this video comes out, it's gonna be late May or something. And like the XP gains are insane. I didn't think it'd be like that significant with our upgrade stuff with what we got. So I'm definitely going to be raising that up all the way, saving up money for that. We're not doing too bad either here. We got about 20 minutes to go. I had a pretty good sleep today too, except for like I forgot to turn off my alarm that I had set from the day before, and that woke me up. I turned it off and I went back to sleep for a few more hours. I went to bed late too, but because like exercise and whatever else. Yeah, I feel pretty good though. I just gotta finish eating tonight, which I just had some, they're not hot dogs, but it's like a type of like sausage thing. Really good. It's like, oh, you know what? Why not? I think it's nice to have it once in a while. Instead of like, you know, every day, because that kind of kills the experience a little bit. Can do critical damage. All right. The lightning is like really powerful here. I thought it was going to be an issue with this character with the whole shot speed thing, but it's not too bad. I think what helps is like buying those upgrades, kind of cool down, and also upgrading our weapons here. Also, the finale of the Halo show comes out tomorrow. Definitely going to be watching that. See what happens at the concluding season. It's been a while since I like watched an entire, well, probably not a while, because I watched the entire thing of Smiling Friends. And that's like 15 minutes an episode, which is like a few episodes, so. Oh, what the heck is this? We got a new card? What? Oh, this is interesting. So we can pick 2 more cards? Disco Gold or that? Now we're going to get the Disco Gold. Okay, so we can get cards out of that now. That's kind of cool. These guys are getting a little bit of an issue right now. So the Disco Gold, it gets triggered somehow when I pick up money? Or is it like a chance that it'll do that? You say chess can do it too. All right, I got another one. All right. If we get that water all the way out, that's going to help a lot. Yeah. And I think we maxed out of that now. Sure, luck. Gold! I guess killing enemies drops coins and I have a short time to do whatever. And I think I have to pick up actual coins to extend the meter. Okay. I'm glad I'm getting back in the groove with this farmer walk stuff. Like right now, my shoulders and part of my back, lower back areas and stuff like that is sore, which probably makes sense because I don't really use those muscles often and I was lifting heavy. And I was reading online, you know, looking up more about the whole like Farmer Walk stuff. And there's one site it's like, oh, if you're like a certain weight, say like 200 pounds, you should have 50 pounds for each hand. I'm like, that's a lot to be starting out with. Like, I'm starting out with like, I don't know, about 30 pounds a hand. Or close to a 30 pounds. Because the bars are like heavy. Plus, you know, I'm using 10 pounds for each like part of the thing. Which I got plenty of weights though to like put on there to adjust it whenever I need to. Except that I only got like 2 of these like 2.5 pound bars. And then I got like 4 5.5 pound or 5 pound bars, which I could probably do in increments of 5. So I could like change up the weight like once for both of them, but then that's it. Unless I take the 225 pound. Well, no, I can't even do that because it's gonna leave it in balance. It's gonna have to be whatever. I'm not gonna need any new weights anytime soon. Okay, let's see here. We'll do that, I guess. Man, we're just getting so much stuff. So I know, like, the plates get kind of pricey. You get a number of them, especially these 25 pound ones. I mean, they have like stuff higher than that. Get like 50 pounds or something or more. So that gets like crazy expensive, and I'm not going to use like a 50, well, it's either 50 or 45 pound things, which I don't really need. Probably for a while, because I got 25 pounds per, you know, per like each end of the bars. Ah, gold time! Money time! Do the money dance. Oh my lord. I'm glad I went through with, like, getting some weightlifting machine stuff and whatever else. Because, yeah, it costs money to buy that, of course. But then it's like this whole thing where it's like, as long as you're using it, then it's going to pay off. Kind of like when you get a gym membership. As long as you're using it, it's going to pay off. You know, using it regularly. Now, for me, because of the whole thing with COVID last year, I decided to build my own stuff. That, and on top of that, COVID restrictions and everything, I decided to do that not just because of the COVID limitations and stuff, but also if they were to ever close down again, which they probably would, with another infectious thing going on or whatever, then I could just do this stuff at home. And as for running, like, Not a big deal. Go outside and run. Unless there's like a heat wave right now. Which there is. I used to be relying on going to that gym, the free gym. Pre-COVID, I used to go there a lot. Or not a lot, but like enough to where it's like, you know, I'm going there regularly, I guess. And then when COVID happened, it like, they shut down the gym. It was like a abrupt end of things. And caught me off guard quite a bit. And so they closed down for over a year. And within that year time, I became less reliant on that in like any kind of gyms anymore. And more on like building a gym in my home. I'm glad I did that. Because now, like, if there's any issues, like I said before, like, I'm ready to combat that. Plus, I'm saving money and not paying for gym membership fees should I go elsewhere and use actual equipment. But at least I know the gyms are open for now. That's good. Because I fell out of practice with lifting and whatever else for the gym. when COVID shut everything down. And I was doing more running, I guess, in the process. I can't believe it's Wednesday already, by the way. Like, I feel like it was yesterday that it was, like, Monday. I know, it probably doesn't seem like as much as, like, what the old folks would say. It's like, oh, you know, it's only seemed like yesterday that I graduated from high school or something. I mean, some stuff for me, I can agree with, like, with that sentiment where it's like, yeah, it doesn't seem possible. It's been, you know, X amount of years since I graduated and stuff. And I look pretty good though, like, for my age. I remember taking an Uber home last week, and the woman driver thought I was like in my, you know, I like much younger than what I thought, you know, I was or something. By like a decade. And I'm like, well, like how young I looked. I'm like, yeah, well, thank you. Like, I don't get that many compliments with my age like that. I guess if I look back with the photos when I was younger, like, compared to what I was now, there's like minimum difference, I guess. Because I decided to cut off all this, you know, junk food and everything else, like, several years ago. And then incorporating more exercising here and there. And fasting and everything else, like, I think that's what made a huge difference. Couple of baddies here. Like when I started running again last week, like, of course it was kicking my butt because we got another card. Cool. Of course it was kicking my butt because of, because one, it was like, it's been a while, and two, things are warming up, too. And, the weather, that is. And, like every time like I run and stuff, I get this kind of afterglow effect to where it's like I feel really good for like a number of days or whatever. But if I'm not exercising enough after like a certain amount of time or whatever, like over a week since I ran or something, then it's like blah. Of course, with that whole running thing, it helps with like circulation and everything else to it. Endorphins. That's probably what's doing it. It's like the endorphin stuff. Do I have like max upgrades and everything? I guess so. Where to think about. Getting quite a bit of coinage too here. I want to go swimming sometime. It's been a number of years since I went swimming. When was the last time I went swimming? I gotta think about that. 2016, 17 or something like that. It's been a while. And that was like at some kind of like water park thing, I guess. I was with some people. Which it was okay. I mean, so I haven't dipped into the chlorine water in a while. Money, money, monies. Money, honeys. We need to get the 13,000, I think, to upgrade the XP thing. Definitely going to try to get that. Gold time! Monies! More money time! Like, that gold boost is, like, really helpful, too. I don't know what it is, like dollar mark signs. If it's just like standard coin stuff. I'm assuming I'm getting very little out of the drops, like 100 coins or something, but whatever. It still gives me some extra coinage. Alright, this is getting kind of dangerous here now. I'm really not that powerful. Pushing them back. Maybe I'm moving around too much or something. Or maybe it's because of the lightning strike I had picked out instead of like some other attack. Got like 5 minutes to go. Oh, just creeping up on me here. Here comes the bats. Oh, and everything else. There we go. We're going to just run the other way. Oh. Oh, no. I'm dead. But don't worry, I got to revive. Or a couple of revives or something. Look at all that money. I need to get my shield back, though. Come on. I think there's like 3 revives, right? Oh my god. Why am I sucking right now? Oh, goodness gracious. Lord, have mercy. All right. I can't keep dying here, though. Oh, my goodness. I need to get out of here. Please! Alright. Heal me. Alright, so we got these Medusa things. That's cool. Get down here. Another mega chest. I need to get through the 30 minutes. I think there might be another unlock for this character. I mean, trying to do all these different characters for this map and stuff and these other maps. Yeah, 25 gold pieces. We might be able to get to 13,000. We might be able to, because we get extra 500 coins with death coming around. Because that get us to 10,000, and then whatever else I have left saved up, which is probably like a few hundred, I think. So, we'll either get it, if not, we'll get close to having enough to get in it. Yep, and everybody's pushing around here. Old buffaloing. I was reading today, by the way, that there was a discovery that was made recently, last couple of months, at Notre Dame, the cathedral. And I guess when they're doing renovation work, they came across like a tomb and some other stuff underneath the floors. And they found like a lead sarcophagus, which if it does date back to like Middle Ages, then I guess it's extremely rare to find something like this. Which to me, it does sound pretty rare to be finding a sarcophagus in Europe during the Middle Ages. Because usually those sarcophaguses, or maybe it's just sarcophagi. You find a lot of those over there in Egypt and stuff. So they're thinking because it was made out of lead and a bunch of other stuff that was going on with it, that it's someone of like a higher status or something. Which makes me kind of wonder, like, because they said they can't really date when this sarcophagus was like made up and stuff until they open it. I think that's because like they had to find like periodical stuff that's in there, like certain clothes, styles, and or not, probably not hairstyles, but like certain things that would make it look like or make it show like, hey, this is it's this kind of thing going on because alright, don't die here. Because maybe like what they're wearing. That's a big thing too, what they're wearing. May help identify with things. Oh, God. Uh-oh. Getting myself into trouble here. I gotta make it. Oh, God. Don't freeze it. Get out of there. Yeah, they're like coming on me hard. There we go. So yeah, the periodical stuff, I definitely can see how that's going to be like a big impact. Like I guess they did take a picture in a crack or something like that, showing it off from what I was reading about. I'm going to just skip that chest, by the way, because... Alright. Now we're going to try to... Nope. We got another revive, I think. Yep. Not today, Satan! But it kind of makes me wonder with that, like... If they buried it during the construction of the church or before that, and somebody just like forgot about it, because I guess they found the sarcophagus that was sitting next to some like piping. All right, we got that. No upgrades. That's fine. All right, let's see. 12,000. We're almost there. Oh nope, it's 18,000. Never mind. Okay. I guess we'll do this again. And then we'll do the dairy plant. Do I even want to do the dairy plant right now? No, let's actually do the first stage, because I don't think I did the first stage for this character. We'll get that first. That'd be very interesting to see what they discover. I guess the latest articles are like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I guess what they're doing now is they're sending the body over to the some medical examination place. I guess for research. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I mean, probably discover some interesting things about the person, like if they got like some kind of like limp or something, limping issues, or like how their dental hygiene was, what age of the person is, like a lot of specifics, a lot of forensic stuff. Revive? Ah, interesting. That's a thing. I guess we'll get an extra revive just in case. And then they found like some sculptures and statues too. They had one that's supposed to be supposedly depicting of Jesus, and it had some of the coloring still on there, which is pretty crazy to think about. I guess they had like old pieces of like tunnel work and stuff, or whatever else, like that used to be part of the church before it was demolished by King Louis the 14th. So there's like remnants of that, which is interesting. So I kind of wonder, like, if, well, you know, why not? I think about it. Maybe if the body was, oh, we could stack these. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, stacking those might not be too bad here if we're going to try to take on death. I need to get like a bunch of upgrades here. I'm going to do that. My hunch, well, not my hunch. I'm just gonna assume. My assumption is that this was probably a priest, because they're talking about it could be a priest, it could be like somebody higher up. I'm thinking it could be a priest. Because the Middle Ages, they had a lot of religious, people that were like very powerful and higher up. And they're talking about this whole lead case thing and stuff, and I think having a lead sarcophagus would be pretty expensive to make. And not everybody in the Middle Ages would be able to afford that because there was a lot of poor people. A lot of poor suffering people back then. Now, I was talking to somebody about that, and I was like, the interesting thing about the lead sarcophagus kind of reminds me of, no, I was like actually joking about like, wow, it reminds me of those lead sarcophaguses from Chernobyl, and it must be a radiated body or something in there. Like jokingly saying that, but like, back then they did that. With Chernobyl, because when these workers and stuff in the Soviet Union at the time, they were told, hey, don't worry about the radiation levels, it's safe, which was like severely like underreported of what the levels were actually at, and trying to reassure these workers, which they call robots. They call them robots, which are just people. But these people, they were there to like seal off the sarcophagus of the plant and whatever else. And of course they died because that radiation exposure is very severe near that region. I mean, the closer you get, the more it's going to be exposure for them, of course. So makes sense. So I think with this, in the case of this thing that was found at Notre Dame, I highly doubt it has something to do with radiation because I don't think a lot of people knew about radiation stuff or like even came to discovery of that until like much later. So I think the thing was something more symbolic. Maybe it's more durable. Maybe it's more elegant looking. That's why I'm like kind of leaning on with that. It's more of like status. You got like this lead sarcophagus and it's all whatever. It kind of reminds me of, see, like I learned quite a bit about like burial stuff, like throughout these different cultures and centuries and everything. Like in Asia, for example, in China specifically, they used to do these compartment style burial practices for people with higher statuses. I guess the higher the status, the more complex the compartments are. So basically, what they used to do was they, at some point during this century or two, they ran around and dug up all these holes, right? They dug a hole to where this is going to be, where the body is going to be buried and stuff. But like in each of these compartments, they got like different things going on. So like it's not just the body, but the body is buried in a hole. There's no coffin, nothing like that. Just buried in a hole. And then you got these different like compartments made out of dirt and stuff like that. So like there's like walls and stuff dividing them. And then I guess they had like sticks and everything, or like some kind of like makeshift sticks to kind of layer things. And so each of these compartments had different things going on, which was like they put food in there, they put instruments, they put like makeshift dolls and everything in. And the reason why they did that was because they believed that when they buried the body with these things, and they created these figurines or something, and also these instruments to be like somehow possessed by these spirits that are going to be in this hole. And it's supposed to like give the dead person's spirit that's in the ground a entertainment. It's to entertain the soul. The posthumous soul, they call it. Or humanist? Something like that. And that was common. That was fairly common back then for like the higher ups. Same thing too with the Terracotta soldiers, which from my learning class, they didn't talk about like the whole forcing slave labor thing to make all these terracotta soldiers and like how many people died making these things, and it took them like many decades to like, not many decades, but many years to even finish like one soldier. And they had like a bunch of these in this mausoleum, which this mausoleum is like full of like mercury. I guess the walls are laced in it or something. They had mercury for some reason, which is not uncommon for different cultures to use mercury for different things. Like, for example, not really mercury for this, like, example, but, like, during the Roman times, they would make this stuff called supa, which is, like, a type of cooked-down grapes. And it's used to be put on, like, everything. It's, like, very sugary substance. And the Romans would eat a lot of it. The higher up you are, the more of that supa you get. But the catch was, they cooked them in lead vessels, or lead pots or something like that. And the reason why they did that is because the lead makes it sweeter. Because of the whole chemical compounds with it, and since you're cooking in it, and you're in the acidity of the grapes and stuff like that, it's like kind of melting away the lead. It adds to it, and it adds like a different kind of flavor to it that makes it even more delicious. And so the Romans would just eat that stuff, and that was like long before, like, you know, people found out what the detrimental effects were with lead. I guess that was part of the reason why there was like a demise to the Roman Empire. Part of it. It's not like the main culprit, because it was like a combination of things that happened. But that was part of it, because the Laters were starting to like, I mean, there's very little reports going on with the Laters. You know, getting the negative effects, because nobody knew much about it, and they kind of underreport that to some degree because of how the culture was back then. And there was like, you know, things about like, well, there's suspicions too of it. Like certain emperors would be drooling or dazing, dazing. You know, they were dazing stuff. They were kind of like mindlessly not there at times, slurring their words and stuff. And so we got a mega chat, or super ultra mega chat. And so they did some testing, you know, with the modern, you know, tests and stuff like that. And they found like it was an absurd amount of lead that they had in these pots and what they were consuming. And I think they even tested out when they were cooking in the pots too, to make the identical like recipe for like supa in these pots. I think they did that too. And it was like something absurd amount of like lead that was in there. And there's like reports about like some birth defects and miscarriages and stuff like that going on. I mean, nobody really knew back then about that kind of stuff. You know, same thing with asbestos, right? Asbestos was the same thing too. And now you could buy it for like 50 cents or something like that per metric ton. because nobody wants to touch the stuff and it's extremely dangerous. Same thing too with the uranium. Used to have uranium baths back in the 1800s, and there was all this like, you know, back when it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna give you like, you know, a cure for everything, you know, kind of deal, kind of thinking. So like these different cultures, you know, they don't know what they're doing. I think every culture had issues with like getting those kind of elements, and then they just kind of screwed their population up to some degree back in this civilization days. But now now that we've kind of picked up on all that stuff, we're a lot better now than where we were back then, I guess. Now I don't know about the mercury bit with China, with the terracotta thing, terracotta tomb. Because I don't think I learned about, I didn't learn about like what that purpose was with that mercury being in there in the walls, encasing that room. Oh my goodness. I am struggling hard. Should have just got more upgrades. I think with this character, because of the lightning strikes, it's like... we'll get some armor here. I think with the lightning strikes, it's not being as powerful here. Or not happen as often. Okay, this is actually really good because I could pick the food thing now. Yes. We'll get more of a heal off of that now. Of course, I'm also picking the XP boost thing, which doesn't really help much if I'm struggling with shooting and damage. Yeah, armor. Oh, I killed that bat. Cool. Chicken! Now, I never personally had Supa before. Like, there's like recipes for it, but I don't even know what you really do with it. I guess you can use it to like dip it in something or whatever. I think we'll do that. We'll do that. 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 Why is there like a big boost? Because of like all the pickups there or something? This is helping a little bit here. This is an improvement. Oh my goodness. Still like bad, but it's a little better. I was being cute with the run earlier. I was like, oh, it's okay. Died like, well, I think once so far. All right, don't get caught up in that. Oh my goodness. All right, cool down, yeah. I could probably get the hollow heart, but... Let's see here. Yeah, I maxed out the regeneration thing, so... not regeneration thing, but the one-up thing. And then I did learn a little bit about the burial stuff for like the Vikings, which was the interesting thing about the Viking one is that I guess they treated women like it's surprisingly more equal back then than like any other culture at its time. Like they gave them like proper burials similar to the men. They had like different leaderships and everything else. So like the Vikings had something going on there, I guess, with that. And they had their different kind of burial procedures. I didn't learn much about that, but I learned some things. So yeah, it's a very interesting discovery to hear about. Like, oh yeah, we just found the sarcophagus and stuff, which they probably would have never torn open that floor if it wasn't exposed and damaged from that fire. Because they were doing renovation work, I think, at the time, so that's why they had to get in there and fix some things. Which they said they're going to be completed by either 2023 or 2024, which sounds pretty quick. Like it happened back in 2019, I think. They just got the stabilizers on there, ready to go to hold it in place, just like a few months ago. Good for them with that, I guess. I mean, that was around the time when I was learning about, well, not quite learning about cathedrals, but we were going to get there talking about them. And when the fire was going on, we were discussing about, the teacher was discussing about like, Notre Dame, and he was showing like photos when he and his family went out to Notre Dame to check it out long before the fire. I remember talking to somebody too that they've been to Notre Dame too, and all these other places. Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in seeing Notre Dame when it reopens. See the Eiffel Tower. I want to see the Versailles Palace. I learned so much about that too. I guess we do that and that. Okay, I think we're doing better now. Now I got more firepower. I might just skip the shield thing and just go for another, like, weapon. Anything to just fire at them and take them down as quick as I can. Oh, another thing too, and I think it might be in the same mausoleum as the Terracotta soldiers, if not like another place in China. They have these carriages, horse carriages, and it's completely empty in these, right? It's just a horse carriage. But the whole deal is like it's a metaphor for something. I forgot what it was about, but it's like a metaphor with its emptiness being a space for the soul to be in and whatever. And it's interesting. I can't remember what it was that was about with like why a spirit would want to go into a carriage. Oh, then maybe they would just use that as a way to travel around spiritually. You have like a spiritual carriage that comes out of this regular carriage. I don't know. Because like it's kind of the same thing with this whole terracotta soldier thing, where it's like, I guess back then, before they were building the statues, they used to throw their soldiers down in there, killing them and throwing them down in this mausoleums in the past, or past mausoleums. And I think they found out pretty quickly, it's like, this is killing off our defense and offense. And we needed like some other kind of way. And I guess at some point, I don't know what changed their minds. Probably that kind of line of think is probably what happened. It's like, wait a minute, we're killing our own guys, and they're needed to be like defending us and stuff from invasions or going to battle. But I don't know, like, because I didn't learn about everything about that kind of stuff. I should like look more into it, but because there's only so much you can learn in a class, and I don't know what kind of drove them to this conclusion that if you build statues, it's going to work the same way. I don't know. And another thing too is like, what, you know, and it goes with like the whole thing with all this. It's like, well, you know, who created this kind of ideology? Like, who started the ideology, and how did it get reinforced? You know what I mean? Like, who came up with the ideology to be like, oh yes, if you build these statues, it's going to look the same way. You know what I mean? Or these compartments and stuff like that. Like, because religion, it constantly changed. You know, it got more and more complex over time. It's still complex now. Like, it's still ever changing. But like, I know in some cases, drugs are involved. And there's like this whole hallucinating thing and talking to spirits and stuff like that. I know there's some of that. I would think that's going on. Because I don't know what, I can't remember what religion China had back then. Maoism? Oh, no, not Maoism. It's not a religion. It's totally different. No, that's long after that time. No, Mao is like 1900s. I can't remember what religion it was back then. Because I think China now is more atheist. It's more of an atheist, authoritative kind of religion thing. See, do we have like the ruin thing maxed? Yeah, we do. We just have to wait for a big upgrade now. Now, I think Japan is kind of similar too. But they also, let's see. Actually, no, wait, let me back up. So I think Japan, no, that's right. China, I think for a while had Buddhism. That's right. And then Japan did too, I think shortly after, you know, thousands of years ago. And there's a thing called Zen Buddhism, and I think that was a Japan thing. And the special teapots and the specific way of entering a house and acknowledging the guests and all sorts of different things. And you got different kinds of teapots for like different occasions, for different classes and whatever else. It's like a very sophisticated system. And so you have this kind of a clergy of Buddhists, similar to like, you know, clergy with Christians, like, you know, caravan. Going out, sort of like evangelicalizing people, only like in the Buddhist form. I don't know what that name would be for, like, you know, for Buddhist related, but I think they had something like that. So Buddhists were kind of doing their thing too with it. We did touch about India a little bit, just a little bit. Well, not a little bit, quite a bit, because that's where the whole Buddhist stuff was, I think, starting, I think. Which, that one's interesting, too, the whole, like, having multiple gods thing. You got, like, so many of them. Or is it Hindu? Maybe it's like there's Hindu and then there was Buddhism. I think Hindu is multiple gods. I think. They'll quote me on that. And they had some statues of, like, just different things in these old temples too of the Buddhists. That's right. So they had different forms of Buddhists. That's another thing too. So they had different forms of Buddhist in these different cultures over time. So, like, the different sect of Buddhism. And I had to, like, learn about, like, what's the difference between this Buddhist and this and that Buddhist, and what it represents and stuff. Now, can I tell you what those differences are anymore? I can't remember. I remember a lot of details about different things over the years learning about that stuff, but I can't really tell you off the bat. I have notes still from those classes. But what's very big about, like, religion or religious cultures, as well as, like, you know, cultures with the emperors, kings, dictatorships and stuff like that, is they all have, like, one thing in common, and that's, like, symbolism, like creating their own symbols, colors, shapes, analogies, metaphors, all sorts of stuff, in all their own different creative ways. And they also like to steal from each other's, like, work. You know, it's like, you know, like stealing answers or something from somebody's homework or whatever. They make their own kind of, like, fanfic, I like to call it. Fan fiction of their own, like, religious spin to something, or, like, cultural spin. Like, they take elements and stuff, or these elements are, like, fairly common enough to where it can just shift to some ways. Like, one thing they used to do, for example, like, a very long time ago, during the whole early, Islam, is in these older temples, they used to, that they found, they used to, like, paint pictures of animals and plants. No people, because I think that was still around the time where it's like, you know, the whole, like, you know, you can't be painting pictures of people because of the, you know, the grave image thing kind of deal. You know, it was a sin. And I think it still is. I think that's still like that. So they used to paint plants and animals instead. I kind of asked, like, you know, the teachers, like, do you think they did that to make them, like, represent, like, people and stuff like that? And didn't have an answer to it. And I kind of, like, pointed out, it's like, because it seems like it's very similar to, like, another culture and how they like I talked about Japan as an example, because Japan, they what they used to do with their art and stuff is they would I think Japan and China is what I used examples of, where they would create mountains in the pictures and stuff like that, these murals. And each mountain and whatever else, mountains, trees, whatever else, and their elevation represents different statuses for like the people involved. So like the very top of the mountain, for example, represents like the king and stuff like that, the current emperor. And it has symbolism of it being the current emperor based on like different characteristics of the mountain or tree or whatever they're using. And in Japan, they did that with calligraphy, which Islam did adopt the use in calligraphy a lot with their temple writing work, like writing on the temple and stuff like that, the temples. In fact, they used to use, during those early days of Islam, they used to use depictions of Jesus in their temples too. Christianity with Muslim work, which is interesting. But they used to do that. But now it's like it's more calligraphy than like. I mean, calligraphy. You can argue that calligraphy is art, which it is. It's a kind of art, stylistic kind of art with text and stuff. And so I think they use more calligraphy now than what it was back then. And they write it on the temples and stuff for like different things, of course. Different representations of things. I remember I had to like memorize the different interior structures of Islamic temples, like the common temples now, and then also like the cathedrals. I think the cathedrals are a little bit more complex to memorize than like the other kind of churches, the Islam churches, because I think there's like much more involved with cathedrals, with how they're structured. But there's still a lot of memorizing regardless, for like all of them. I was learning about the Taj Mahal too. I found out in class that there was supposed to be another Taj Mahal across the river. And that was supposed to be dedicated to the prince. I think his name was Shah Shahal or something like that, I think. And I think there's Matif Mahal, which is the woman that was dedicated to have the Taj Mahal to be built in favor for her after her death. And the whole thing about the black Taj Mahal that was going to be across the river was it's supposed to be in place for the prince once he dies. But then when that happened, I think nobody had the funds or whatever. Something was going on, and they decided not to build it. But that was the original mausoleum thing, that structure that we're going to build for him too. Oh, he killed me there. But don't worry, we got a few lives here. Of course, I don't know how this is going to like save me from from him so much because I don't have a shield. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to kill him anyways. You won't even let me pick up my thing, huh? I think we got like 2 more lives now. Try to burn him with the fire. One more live now, ish. It just keeps on going. I think this might be the last one. That's it. No upgrades there, but whoops. 24,000. Got enough for that. All right, cool. So I'm like one away to maxing that out. I think that's what I need to do now is get that maxed out and then worry about this lesser stuff and probably not see enemy speed, health, quantity, and frequent. But I don't know what good would that do unless it just gives me like if it's just something to do for fun, it's just make it more difficult, which I don't want to do at the moment. Anyways, I think that'll do it for tonight. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.